Well, I think overall for the season, we should be fine with or without Chris, whatever that situation holds. But Thursday night's looking a little iffy, boys. We have got some injuries that have been taking place. We have got a couple of light practices on Tuesday so far.
You scared
That's
because we don't have Travis Kelsey, Tyler? You
L'Jarius
scared of the
Sneed.
Lions?
L'Jarius Sneed is still continuing with the knee issue, and if available, will be on limited reps. Kadarius Toney has been back at practice, but also will be on limited reps. And today we found out Travis Kelsey is injured. His ACL seems to be intact. Thankfully, he did have a knee flare up from a hyperextension. It's possible that he plays, but it is most likely, in all honesty, that Travis Kelsey will be sitting out Thursday versus the Lions.
Okay. I saw the news early on today. I don't know if you guys thought the same thing, but whenever the ACL thing came into it, I was like, where did this possibly come from? Because there was no mention of that anywhere before. It was like, oh, just hyperextension. He should be fine. But the ACL tweet just came out of nowhere.
Well, anytime that you're dealing with a knee, you have to worry about the ligaments. They weren't going to release that information about the ACL until they either knew it was torn or until it was good. Um, and with how quickly the reports are saying that the knee swelled up, it was probably going to be very difficult to be able to do the actual tests for it without causing pain. So it was much easier just to wait until the MRI was taken care of. But anytime like that with a hyperextension, I have seen hyperextensions and completely blow out a knee, including the ACL. So it wasn't off the table, but you are right. Nobody else mentioned anything about any ligament damage until Adam Schefter tweeted out that the ACL was stable and good. But given the fact that, we're going to be missing Travis Kelsey, in my mind, he's out. There shouldn't be a reason to play him in week one if you're going to need him for another 16 weeks to play, including playoffs. But you've also got Kadarius Toney, who's probably going to be limited on reps if he plays at all. Most definitely will suit up. So that leaves you guys like MVS, who's going to be your number one, but then you have Sky Moore, Rashee Rice, and then Justin Ross, who may be able to step in the big frame that the team would be missing. Travis Kelsey, obviously Noah Gray, who's been in that role for a while, could potentially take over for Travis. He was always touted as Travis's replacement whenever he would retire, and Travis just keeps plugging along. So offensively, are you guys worried at all facing this Detroit team that has a very good pass rush and some fairly competent secondary players?
Not worried at all, man. This is Patrick Mahomes. This is what he does. It's the season opener. He has phenomenal numbers on every season opener he's been a part of. And, the Lions just have to prove it. And right now, the Lions, in a big moment like this, the only way they can win it is in a shootout.
And the Lions aren't going to win that shootout. Sorry.
But they got Jared
We
Goff.
are.
He won a shootout against Patrick Mahomes before.
He was surrounded by a much better team than this current Detroit Lions. That was, I would say, around Aaron Donald's peak. Yeah, yay or nay?
Yeah,
Aaron
Yeah.
Donald's peak.
would agree.
Yeah, okay. He was surrounded by a much better team. So I'm not that worried. They do have some offensive weapons. It very well could be a shootout, but this isn't like we aren't going to come out and get made look stupid. Like this is the caliber of our franchise is out there. Like it's without a shadow of a doubt. Like this is a top class organization in the NFL. Andy Reid and his whole team know how to compensate for players that are out, and I think we get a good mix of everybody in the backfield. Where our wide receiver room is much deeper than it was last year. We added people to the room that even I feel like is going to compensate for Kadarius Toney's injury. Richie James showed some great things in preseason as well as Justin Ross, so I'm not really worried about like the back half of our receiving depth chart. Missing Travis Kelsey is a big one, but I think we get creative enough that our offense is going to roll like it normally does.
A big development on the Detroit Lions side is defensive tackle Isaiah Buggs has been listed as a healthy scratch. Basically, he will not be in this matchup. And that is a big, big blow, I think, to their defense, as he is he's easily their best run stopper. He's a very good run stopper across the league. I think that's something that, given the Travis Kelsey news now, we need to be paying attention to and really get Isaiah Pacheco, Jerick McKinnon involved in this game and just run it down their throats. It's not going to happen because Patrick Mahomes, they like to pass the ball, but given that information, knowing that they've got pass rushers, they like to go wide on the outside. Isaiah Buggs is going to be out. They're not going to have anybody to really stop up the gut runs until they start blitzing. And then that's when we start going over the top. And one thing that, we'll really, really have to be looking for is Rashee Rice is definitely going to be involved in this game. Second round pick, involved in the offense. This is one of the guys that Andy Reid wanted to get involved, and that is uncommon for Andy because he typically doesn't let first-year receivers into the team no matter where they're picked early on into the season, and we're not going to have a choice. He did have 4 big drops during the preseason. Do you think he can get it together in this game? With first game, first NFL experience, banners getting raised, crowd's going to be electric. Can he haul in anything that's coming his way?
How many of those drops were from Mahomes though?
That I don't know. I want to say
if you.
I want to say I'd say yeah, probably most of them.
I don't think he's going to drop Mahomes too much.
Well, let me just say, will he or won't he is a great question and something to watch for Thursday night. But he's got to get his experience, and I'm glad that Andy is willing to put him in that situation. I understand with the Kadarius Toney injury, we're going to have to spread it out and get more people involved. But I'm just appreciative of the attitude that we want to get this young rookie involved. Hopefully more than Sky Moore was last year.
How much earlier in the season do you think Rashee Rice will score a touchdown before Sky Moore did last year?
When was Sky Moore's week?
Super Bowl.
That's
his first receiving touchdown. Yeah.
Depending on,
we'll definitely see it before the Super Bowl, guys.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about limited reps for Kadarius, we're talking. A guy I forgot to mention as well is Richie James is going to be in, so maybe we won't see Rashee Rice as much as I initially thought. I think it's possible he gets his first touchdown in week 1.
That's my bet too.
I think it would do a lot for his confidence on a stage like that, getting the first touchdown. He's just going to be set up for a great season from there.
Let's switch gears, get over into the defensive side. A defense that typically at the beginning of the season under Steve Spagnuolo is typically not that good. Now, this defense has built on itself, has really brought in some players outside of the defensive line, right? We've got a linebacker room that's solidified with Willie Gay and Nick Bolton, and now Drew Tranquill, a guy that I've really, really liked playing in LA. I keep wanting to say San Diego every time. LA for the Chargers. Very smart guy, highly touted across the league. Somehow we were able to pull him over. You've got Justin Reed, who's obviously a very smart guy, Brian Cook, who is a dog, and all of our DBs on the outside who are interchangeable. And with L'Jarius Sneed being out, we know that those guys can come in and cover a lot. But if we're not getting any pressure, how long can our DBs realistically stay afoot in their coverages when potentially Jared Goff may have all day to pass?
I don't think that's as likely as you might make it seem, to be completely honest. Like in a group that Spags is going to thrive with is the group that we've been building. Okay, like the leaders on this defense, outside of Chris Jones not being on the defensive line, you got both of our linebackers in Nick Bolton and Willie Gay, Jordan Reed, or is it it's Justin Reed?
Justin.
Sorry,
Justin.
God damn it, Justin
Fun.
Reed. Like they've the leadership positions on the defense have been together for a while. L'Jarius Sneed, obviously with the injury situation, our D line and our cornerbacks, I feel like, are pretty young. But those three guys that essentially like run our defense, like get the calls and put guys in the right positions. That's the group, that Spags is going to be successful with, and he's going to be dialing up. He's gonna bring different people off the edge. Like he's going to bring a DB, that rookie Connor, the safety that was doing it a lot in the preseason. Like he's going to bring somebody that the Lions aren't expecting, especially with L'Jarius Sneed being out, because he usually is that guy that's going to come on the defensive back blitz. So look for another safety or another cornerback that's going to bring pressure, but like they're going to bring it from different areas and keep the Lions on their toes.
I like that. Well, let's get into some things that we're expecting. Keep it a little short here, but Sean, what is something that you are expecting the Chiefs or the Lions to do in this game?
I'm expecting the Chiefs, more specifically Patrick Mahomes, to spread the ball around. Looking like no Travis Kelce, so he's gonna have to get that ball out quick. And with pretty much all new receivers, you're gonna have to go out there and throw it around, find out who you like the most, and go with it like that.
If
Also
they actually
expecting
keep it in the record books, like expect Mahomes to break like different receivers hit.
and then
Tybo, what are you? Oh, go ahead.
I expect the Lions to go ahead and just have a few explosive plays. They won't be chugging along the whole entire night, but they will have some big explosive plays that will open the top off once or twice.
Yeah, don't really expect this to be like a complete domination. I feel very confident in this high class organization to handle business when it comes week one, but expect the Lions to make it interesting. Like this isn't necessarily going to be a cakewalk. They have weapons. They have a good offensive line, and with our defensive line lacking at this point, they might be able to run all over us. But it's not going to be a one sided affair in the Lions favor. It's not going to work out that way.
Interesting. I've got the Lions being explosive, but continued probably through the whole game without having a pass rush. I'm expecting Amon-Ra St. Brown to have himself a hell of a game. And don't forget the guy that I'm really paying attention to in fantasy, mainly my dynasty leagues as well, Sam Laporta as a rookie tight end. He took the number one position there right out of the gate, right out of the draft. I'm expecting him to be able to show out and get open and get himself some confidence going into the next games. The guy that I'd really be most worried about is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs. I think without having Chris Jones and knowing that we're going to have to cover deep with their wide receivers who are a solid unit, it may or will open up the run lanes for Jahmyr Gibbs to have some easy runs. And we have struggled in run defense in recent seasons.
Look, Nick Bolton and Willie Gay going to be flying around. I want as much success out of Jahmyr Gibbs, honestly, as possible because he is on my fantasy team. But no, that's not what's scaring me, to be completely honest.
I'll give you one more expectation. This one for the Kansas City Chiefs. Justin Ross gets his first NFL touchdown, year 2.
I like that.
Put
like
money
that a
on
lot. You know, parlay that with something else in the game, or
that's a good question. I have not really taken a look at the parlays as far as individual players and what they may do, but I'll look into that, see if I can't put something together.
I like it. I think Justin Ross should be a shining light. All right, like the man's story is well known. Let's feed him the ball. Let's get him some TV time. All right,
He
because
will
his
have
routes are fucking crispy.
he will have no less than 8 touchdowns this year. Calling it now.
Hey yo.
That's a big number.
It's a big guy.